I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not gonna lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk, and I'm not a jerk. Apparently, I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? 40-year-old boy podcast. Mike Schmidt here. Second start. That's right. Second attempt at this podcast. Did it a few minutes ago, called the whole thing off, was ready to give you a truncated podcast, a 5-minute podcast you would have gotten, folks. I said, you know what, that's it, I can't do it. I can't do no more, I said, as Barry Sobel would, and I threw up my hands and I stormed away. And then Lili von Stubb convinced me to do it. But she's very busy these days, folks. She's got a lot on her plate, and then Fatty comes over and says, let's do a free show and take up all of your time on a Tuesday night. That's right, I said a Tuesday night. Normally I'd be taking up all of her time on a Wednesday, but again, very busy life for the von Stupp family, and so she has decided that she cannot possibly accommodate me on Wednesday this week. So here I am, and it's a nighttime record. I think we all know how bad I am at night, folks. Just ask my wife, she'll tell you. Ha ha, guess what? That's a sex joke and a lie, because I'm great at the sack. All right, so it is 5 minutes after the hour, 5 minutes after 7 o'clock, 7:05, folks, on the West Coast. Pacific time. It is Pacific time, I think. Pacific Mean Time. Greenwich Mean Pacific Time. I don't know how that works, but I know it's 7 o'clock. I can see it right in the microwave. And I am coming to you live from the Lili von Stupp abode. Weird week for me, folks. Here's what Mike Schmidt did today. Mike Schmidt's your friend. He's hosting the show. Hi, that's me. By the way, a different beverage today. Can you hear that beverage? Lemon Propel. Yeah, that's right. My contract has expired with the Black Cherry people. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give lemon a day in court. That's a lie. I did lemon. Here's why. Because we went to 4 different Ralphs. Ralphs is an organization out here that sells food. It's an organization? That seems weird. It's a grocery store. It's a secret organization. You go there, you got to wear a hood, knock 4 times, they let you in the door. So I go to Ralph's, and we went to 4 different Ralphs looking for Black Cherry Propel. They're out. And now I fear that maybe Propel is on its way out or Black Cherry is being phased out, but it can't be because Black Cherry is the only one that anybody fucking drinks. When I go to the store, it's always gone. I always have to they got to go to the back and pull out like a hand cart and a pallet. And again, it's a mystery. I got to wink 3 times and give them a high sign, and then they sell me my Black Cherry Propel. It's like it might as well be heroin in a bottle for all the fucking hoops I got to jump through to get this stuff. So, but now we went to 4 different Ralphs and they've exhausted their supply. All the shelves are empty of that. But of course they've got fucking horrible kiwi, which I wouldn't use to polish my silverware, to be fucking honest with you. And berry. I don't trust berry. It's flavored. It's berry flavored, which means it can't decide. Fucking choose a berry. All right. I don't want be strawberry. There's blueberry. There's raspberry. There's gooseberry. There's snozberries, as I think Willy Wonka taught us all. And I think it's just an unholy compendium of all of them in one bottle to just create berry. And I got to tell you, I'm not on board with berry. It's gross. I'm not a fan. Pick a fucking berry and maybe I get on board, but otherwise I'm out. So I see, because Black Cherry, there you go. If it was just cherry, I'd be like, yeah, are we maraschino cherry? Are we, like black cherry? But no, it's Black Cherry. Boom, I'm down. Who's the cherry that won't cop out when there's danger all about? Black fucking cherry. You're damn right. So, that made me laugh. So Black Cherry is out. So today, lemon. So here's what they did, though, to entice the former Black Cherry buyer, known as Mike Schmidt. They got a whole shelf of lemon, 50 cents. 50 cents a bottle. How do you pass that up? Honestly, kiwis, I might have even bought kiwi at 50 cents a bottle. I might have been talked into it. But no, it was lemon and it was 50 cents. But that's a lie. I wouldn't have bought kiwi for 50 cents. Here's why. Because they have peach and grape and all these like weird flavors that don't count. But again, I will drink lemon and I drink Black Cherry. Black Cherry is like 95%, but 5% I go lemon. And a 50-cent lemon, that bumps it up to 10%. And so I immediately scooped them all up off the shelf that they had, which was only like 25 of them. Which, if you do a little math, folks, I coughed up $12.50 in lemon Propel. Yeah, that's right. This is a lot of talk about a drink. So I went ahead and did that. So now today I have lemon Propel. So if the show's off, that's why, folks. I'm drinking a 50-cent beverage. That's not good at all. And you know where I got it? Into Club. Into Club, 50 cent. Who fucking wants some? Anybody? Bring it, because I'm standing right here. Can't see me, though, because it's fucking nighttime. All right. So what did I do today? Guess what I did, folks? I went to the doctor. That's right. I went to the doctor this time for me. Yeah, not for my wife. My wife, she's monopolized all of the doctor tests up to this point. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to go see the doctor eventually, right? Yes. Here's why. Your friend Mike, he mentioned a couple episodes ago that his life was ending in a spiral of spun sugar. And not really spun sugar, I guess in a spiral of aquarium rock chocolate fruit. And but I haven't had it since then, folks. That's a lie. I haven't had it since last week. I haven't had it a week. For a week, I have not had it. So, which is great. But for 2 weeks, I will tell you, I have been seized by horrible back pain. The kind like in the commercial where arrows would shoot into your back and then your back would glow red. That's what I have. I have that. And but I don't. Here's the thing. I don't know if it's back pain or if it's something worse, because having lived at the bottom of a candy jar for the past 6 months, I'm starting to think that maybe I've given myself the death sentence of diabetes. Because, and here's why. Because again, all I know is I went, hey, my back hurts. I've been eating candy. I got diabetes. That's the extent of my forecast for myself. What's the word? What do doctors do? They diagnosis. There you go. It's a forecast. It's a forecast of some sort. So it's a diagnosis like a forecast without clouds or rain. So I have to have a diagnosis of myself, and immediately, of course, when you go to WebMD, you type in because I think I have kidney pain. I don't. Here's the thing, because it seems like a deeper pain. Because I've had back pain when I was a fat guy. I lived with back pain. I had like a bulging disc in my back from carrying around, my fucking barrel of fat. But so then that all went away. Everything was looking good. Blood pressure sharp. Everything's fine. And unfortunately, like I said, the last few months have been I've been with Sammy Davis Jr. and visiting the Candyman the entire time, and trying to kill myself apparently in a slow, sweet fashion. Oh, very sweet fashion. And so I've been munching this candy, and now I get this back pain, and immediately I go, I have fucking diabetes, because again, you go to WebMD and you put in kidney pain. Or back pain, and it just and diabetes comes up, and I just go, well, that's of course it. I mean, because I don't have Munchausen syndrome. That's not me. I don't even know if that's a symptom of Munchausen syndrome, because I don't have a kid and I don't want to kill it. So, if I had a kid, he'd want to kill himself. I don't know what you call that. That would be Munchausen Jr. syndrome. That's what it would be. If I had a kid, he'd be like, "This is my dad." Honestly, that's it. I got to take a powder. I gotta form a noose out of my soft blanket and leap out of my crib. That's Munchausen Jr. syndrome. So I have this back pain, and again, I have immediately convinced myself that I have diabetes. So the first thing I do, immediately go buy some candy. And I go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pile candy on top of this pain and see if that somehow fixes it. It didn't. So the pain continues. And I also want to start, like I said, I want to start working out again and lifting and all that. And but I can't. I'm a guy of absolutes, folks. This is how weird my pathology is. Like, I want to start working out, but I'll be like, oh, you know what? I got to start working out on Monday. Can't do it on a Thursday. It's the middle of the week. I take those last 3 days. I go, well, you know what? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's my last few days to get ready for Monday. Or if it's like the 28th of the month, I'm like, I got to wait till the 1st. No point in working out these last few days of the month. Let's call this a shit month. Let's go ahead and chalk this month to being the last month when things were bad. And there we go. We start on the 1st. Again, I'm sure it's OCD. It's the same thing that has me doing candy sorting all the time, but whatever the fuck it is. So, the fuck am I talking about? I don't even remember.
The doctor, the back pain, the diabetes.
Yeah, but there was a reason, whatever the fuck it is. So in that same vein, I want to start working out, but then I have this back pain, and I go, well, fuck, I got to figure out what's happening to me before I start working out, because if I have this horrible back pain, then if I have diabetes, why would I don't want to work out and like hasten the diabetes. I don't want to make like super diabetes. I don't want that to happen. Isn't that what happens when you lift? I'll go lift weights and my diabetes will get muscles, and then it'll like kick my ass from the inside out. I don't know how it works. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. As if I were I'm some other sort of doctor. I'm not a medical doctor, but folks, I am a doctor of love. All right, so they call me Dr. Love. I am the doctor of love. Gene Simmons. So I figure I better get this looked at. And again, I'm all freaked out because I went to WebMD and they told me I had diabetes. So that has me going to the doctor. So I make an appointment, and Karen makes the appointment for me. She's very nice, and she makes an appointment with a new doctor because we don't have a doctor anymore. We chased him out of town with torches. Dr. Frankenstein was my doctor. That's what it was. And I was very disappointed with the bolt work on my neck. And so we did it. We got the villagers together, grabbed torches, chased them right the fuck out of town. Our doctor, when we first moved to town here in the year 1998, our doctor was like a mile from our house. We couldn't believe it. We found a doctor who was a mile from our house, who spoke perfect English. Like it was great. So, which you might know is a problem if you've been to the doctor recently. Because a lot of doctors are from, because Americans are very concerned with doing other things like, chasing celebrities with cameras. So none of them are going to medical school anymore. And if they do go to medical school, they want to like suck fat out of people and build bigger tits. So, all of these foreign people are taking the better doctoring jobs and doing a fantastic job with it. It's just, you start to wonder whether you need to see an ear specialist because when you speak to them, it's very difficult to understand them sometimes. So this guy, he speaks perfect English. He's a mile from the house. We go to him, and he's great. But unfortunately, he's like an older man, and he just keeps getting older. That's how it works, folks. The time passes, sun rises and sets, and you just keep getting older, like a snowball rolling downhill. And unfortunately, his snowball got to be senile, this guy, because eventually I started to go see him, and he wouldn't know who I was, even though he was holding my fucking chart in his hand, which is, I'm going to say dangerous, probably. If he decides to take my appendix out again, that would be bad. So finally, we have to, begrudgingly, we keep telling his nurses, we're like, there's a problem here with this doctor. And they're like, yes, we know, we're doing our best. And it came to a point where we would see him and then walk out and look at the nurses and she'd go, what did he tell you? And double check, like prescriptions and everything. And I'm like, Jesus, well, I don't want to be seeing Mr. Gower from It's a Wonderful Life and take the wrong fucking pills. That's going to be awful. So finally, we grudgingly had to leave this guy. So we did. And then he closed his office like a month later. I don't know if we were his final patients. I don't know how that worked. But they finally sent us a letter saying, look, we're done. So we had to find a new doctor. We found a new doctor. He was great. This guy was fantastic. He ran like a free clinic, but also he saw insurance patients, which was a drag then because then you'd make an appointment at 9 a.m. and you'd show up. And there would be like 47 families waiting with sneezing kids to see him because it was like a free clinic type of situation. And then you're standing there trying not to get more ill. And he was a great doctor. He was awesome, real friendly, cool guy. What I liked about him was he told Karen that if she didn't stop smoking, he wouldn't treat her anymore. I thought that was pretty cool. Because my wife, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, she had cancer and she still smokes. Yeah, that's right, folks. So go ahead and complain to her at an email at ilovecancer.com. That's exactly where you'll get her. She has an office there, and it's you can't really see her because she's enveloped in smoke. So we see this doctor, and he's awesome, but then he closes up shop like he's not with our insurance company anymore. And I'm sure you guys have played the insurance game before, where then they send you a list of like 19 doctors, but some of them aren't taking new patients, whatever. So Karen calls this person and gets me in the door, and I go see them today. And I walk in this building. It's like a ghost town. There's like nobody for any of the doctors on this floor. It's really empty. And then I get to my new doctor, and again, there's 9 families with sneezing kids. What the fuck is going on? So I plop down in between these children, and there's a ton of kids, and so much so that there's a patient sign-in and a pediatric sign-in and a pediatric walk-in sign-in. So like they see kids without appointments, which seems, is that a doctor or a pedophile? Who is this guy? So pedophile often sees kids without appointments. Because rarely does a pedophile have a secretary to line up any sort of appointment schedule for him. I mean, because a pedophile, I can imagine a pedophile, he doesn't want to even have an appointment. When the urge hits him, boom. It's just, a pedophile's taking walk-ins at all times. He's taking walk-ins, he's taking grab-ups, he's taking scoop-outs, he's taking them all. But a doctor, apparently, they have the same kind of policy, which is disturbing. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm sitting there waiting. And my back is just furious. It's angry at me, my back. And again, I must tell you, I thought I might have diabetes, but also there's part of me going, you know what? You've put on like 50 pounds in 4 months. Maybe your back is just going, hey, fatty, slow down. Maybe it's just like muscle pain. But it just felt different because, again, I've had bad back before. So I'm waiting. And as I'm waiting, nice doctor, Dr. Abdaloo, was that her name? I don't know. She was the actress in House of Sand and Fog. You might have seen that. And in 24. She was great, and she's a good doctor too. Fantastic doctor and a wonderful actress. So Dr. Abdaloo, is that her name? I think it was. I don't remember. And by the way, on a separate note, speaking of acting and stuff like that, if anybody watched the Screen Actors Guild Awards this week, which I don't think anybody did, I don't even know why they're televised, because that is a jerk-off fest for people in the industry. That's the only reason it's on, and people in the industry aren't going to watch TNT. If they're not at the party, I can't imagine anybody watching it except my wife, who loves award shows. She's watching it, and I hear Meryl Streep's speech coming out of the bedroom, and I can tell just from the bits and pieces I'm hearing out of the bedroom, I know how much I hate it, okay? Because Meryl Streep, fantastic actress, I'm going to guess horrendous human being. Just completely lost in the world of Hollywood and has no touch with reality or any concept or touchstone of what it means to be a real person anymore. She's like this crazy diva. You know what she is? She's like an old pirate ship in a painting that just doesn't change. Like, it's not going anywhere and it's not changing, but it's a classic and it's always going to be a classic, and that's fine. But Jesus Christ, update your fucking act, because she went up and gave this speech. And again, I heard bits and pieces and I didn't dig it. But then I saw actual clips of it, like on the news. And she gets up on stage and she's like, "Oh, I didn't even buy a dress. Oh, and I'm over awards." And she's like laughing and inappropriately joking. And the fucking audience is eating it up. Because again, I talked about this on another podcast. Hollywood is all a big, self-fuck. That's what the whole place is. They're all celebrating each other and constantly clapping for one another. And they all love one another. And they all, Dustin Hoffman, I was the one I talked about. He's on the Tonight Show and he fucked up an entire segment. Old-time Hollywood people are awful. That's it. There you go. They're because they live in that world of actors and a world of pure imagination. Again, with the Wonka. I've got a lot of Wonka today. But Meryl Streep, Jesus Christ, somebody punch her in the face when they see her. Would you do that for me? Just to see her act like she's really hurt. That's what I'd want to see. Can she pull that off? So, I go to the doctor. And I'm there. It's me and Dr. Abdaloo. I'm in the waiting room. And there's a bunch of kids, like I said. Well, there's one little kid, and he's got a paper crown on. And it says Alan. And he's very excited. He's like very happy to be there. He's a little boy. And it turns out it's his birthday. It's Alan's birthday. I can think of no greater present for a child than to bring him to the doctor on his birthday. But you know what? The family felt they had to do it. They had to do it. So Alan's walking around, and he's got his crown on, and he's stomping around like the little kid and where the wild things are, and he's awesome. He's like dominating the whole room. And again, there's a bunch of kids, but they're sick. But Alan, he doesn't seem really sick to me. And he gets into the waiting room, or into the, not the waiting room, the waiting room. All right, we're waiting in one room, then they take him and they put him in another room, as you know, to wait for the doctor. And there's a male nurse, and he's walking around and he's dealing with all the kids. But he has what I'm going to call a horrible bedside manner, even with no beds in the entire building. He has the worst bedside manner because he has no tolerance for children. What the fuck are you doing working there at double sign-in for pediatrics if you don't want to deal with kids? So he's walking around and he's yelling kids' names, and then they'd come in and he'd be like, "Hello, sir, how are you?" Like he's that guy who doesn't know how to deal with kids, but he thinks he does by treating them like an adult, but he's not doing anybody any favors. So he keeps calling Alan. Alan, come over here. Alan, come here. And Alan is completely overstimulated. He may have had a lot of birthday cake before he came into the thing. And, he goes, "Hey, happy birthday, Alan. I'm going to need you to stand right there." And he's trying to get Alan to stand still and do an eye chart. Alan's 5 today. He has no interest in reading RST LMNOP. I mean, he wants to fucking dance around in his fucking paper crown. Give Alan a break. So also, I will mention Alan is Hispanic. As were most of the families waiting to see the doctor. That's important because the male nurse is Caucasian. And he starts telling Alan, "Hey, Alan. And now he's calling him Alan like he's a man, which is even weirder. Not son or hey, pal or hey, buddy. Alan, I need you to focus here. Alan, I need you to focus. Alan is 5 on his birthday. He's not focusing on fucking anything except his paper crown. Get over it, white doctor, nurse." So then he makes him stand. He actually takes him by his shoulders and makes him stand. And he goes, "Stand there." And then he walks, 9 paces. And I'm going, is this a gunfight? Is he going to shoot Alan in the head? What's going to happen? But instead he walks over and he takes the eye chart and he holds it up. And he goes, "All right, I need you to, what is this?" And Alan says, "Moon. What is this? Star. What is this? Clover." And now I'm thinking he's showing him Lucky Charms, like a photo of Lucky Charms. But I look, and I swear to God, Moon, Star, and Clover are on the kid's eye chart. And also, 5-year-old who knows what a clover is? How does that fucking happen? Only way you know that is from Lucky Charms, which might explain why Alan is buzzed out of his fucking mind and running around the entire office. So then Alan is standing there, and then the guy goes, okay, what is this? And Alan doesn't talk. And he says, what is this? And Alan takes his crown off and starts to look at his name on his fucking crown. Because again, Alan is done. He's identified 3 things. What more do you want from him? This doctor comes over and goes, Alan, give me that. Give me that. Alan, give me that. And the woman, like, is standing there. She's not like the mom of Alan. She's not interfering or saying anything. The guy takes the crown away from Alan. It's his birthday. He's 5. Let the kid have his crown. I know. So Alan, to his credit, does not burst into tears. Alan gets this look on his face like, what? Who the fuck just took my crown away from me? Like, he makes this weird face, and he looks at his mom for help. And I will tell you this. Sometimes when families, like this woman I don't think knew a lot of English. So when they're dealing with someone who knows a lot of English, they will tend to withdraw. And she's also thinking, you know what, this guy's an authority figure. I don't want to get in his way. Maybe he knows what's best for Alan. I don't know. But this guy was clearly being a dick. So the guy walks over, and I get up out of the waiting room, and I walk over to the doorway where he's got this kid sitting there, and Alan has no crown. He's sad now. He's actually like looking at the rug, and the guy holds up the eye chart and goes, Alan, I need you to focus. I need you, Alan, what's this? Alan, I need you to focus. What's this? He puts the eye chart down, and he shrugs, and he gets all pissed off, and he walks over to the mom, and he goes, is he stubborn? Is that his problem? Is he stubborn? And the woman just kind of looks at him, and I go, no, he's 5. And the doctor looks at me because I'm not with them. I don't know anything, but I'm standing there, and I'm tired of fucking watching it. Quit putting this kid through the ringer. He's 5 years. It's his 5th birthday. The last thing he wants to remember is Chad, the fucking white nurse, who busted his fucking balls because he wouldn't pick out a moon on a chart fucking half a block away. Give the kid his crown, let him dance around, and just write down that he needs fucking glasses, all right? Do that. Is he stubborn? So I went, no, he's 5. And he looks at me and he goes, excuse me? I go, he's 5 years old. Let him have his crown. And again, I'm new to this doctor. I don't know fucking anybody. I'm like, what are you doing, fucking idiot? Why are you starting a fight now with fucking Troy, the male nurse? But and he looks at me and he goes, well, what are you talking about? I go, you've made him stand here. You took his crown. Once you took that crown away, you've lost him. He's not listening to you. He's listening to nobody. In his head, you know what's going on in his head right now? Crown, 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 crown. And the woman looks at me, and I you know, I said crown, 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 and then I'm like, what are you doing? Stop. And his mom though looks at me, and she put her arm around like the kid, and she like smiled and nodded at me, like yay, someone understands and backed me up, yay. And sure enough, to his credit, male nurse just kind of went, yeah, you're right, and gave him back his crown. And then this kid's like all happy again, and he's all smiling. It was like flipping a switch where you put the crown on his head. It was like Frosty the Snowman's hat. That's what it was like. Because he's just sitting there completely like bummed and looking down, and then he put the hat on, and Alan just goes, happy birthday! That's right, Alan. Enjoy your fucking crowning birthday. So then the guy looks at me, and he's like, do you have an appointment? And I go, I paid and everything. And he goes, well, and he got my chart and he put me in the room. I think he put me in the room just to get me out of his fucking hair, quite frankly. But again, I have to admit, to his credit, he's like, you're right, and gave the kid his crown back. And again, stupidly, holding the crown and the eye chart going, focus. Focus on what? He's looking at your hand with the crown in it. He's just staring at the crown. He can't believe this kid, he had to abdicate his throne to do an eye chart. He's furious. He can't believe that there's been this horrible coup and the king has been overthrown. Is he stubborn? No, he's 5. Jesus. So I go in the room and I wait for Abdaloo to show up. And she comes in. And it was great because, I know I'm busted. And I said to her, I go, yeah, I had gastric bypass. And I've had back pain now for like 2 weeks. And I'm wondering if I might have diabetes because, honestly, for 6 months, all I've done is eat candy. She's like, what? I said, yeah. I said, I haven't seen my doctor since last June. So that's about 7 months. And the reason I haven't gone there is because I know he's going to kill me because I have completely gone off the rails and stopped, and I've been an idiot for 6 months. And she gives me the doctor face. And I go, don't give me the doctor face. I know. I said, believe me, I completely understand it, and that's why I'm here. And I just need to find out if I have diabetes or not so I know whether or not to jump off a bridge. So she goes, well, she starts, and then she gets a little hammer out, and she starts like poking around my back, and she's hitting me, and she goes, well, are you thirsty all the time? And I go, no. I have no other symptoms because I went online and looked. I don't have frequent urination. I don't have a lot of thirst. I don't have swelling or any of that nonsense. I just have back pain, and but it just seems like a weird type of back pain. She starts probing around. She goes, you might have a kidney stone or a gallbladder stone. I go, well, I don't drink any milk. I haven't had milk in like 2 years. She's like, She said, well, do you how many your vitamins that you're taking? How many are you taking? And I said, I stopped taking my vitamins about 7 months ago. And she goes, what? Because I'm supposed to, folks, I'll tell you this, because I don't get to eat as much as I should, or certainly eat as much protein or any of that. I'm supposed to be taking a 1 a day vitamin and a B12 supplement every single day for the rest of my life. I'm supposed to be taking them. And I haven't taken them since June. Again, I think I mentioned I took 2008 off, or at least the second half of it. And she's like, she gave me the face, again, that peering face where they're just like looking down at your chart and then their eyes come up like, huh? Really? No vitamins. And I said, yeah, I'm an idiot. I understand that I'm an idiot. She goes, well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't seem like it's diabetes. I said, thank you. She goes, but we got to do a blood test where they got to run through all these different things. And then you got to piss in a cup when you come back in 2 weeks, and then we'll figure it all out. And then we'll go from there. And then we'll figure out what you've been doing. And I'm like, look, I know what I've been doing. I know I got to stop it. I'll figure it's fine. And I'm like, you don't have to call my other doctor, right? All of a sudden I'm 9 years old in the principal's office again. We don't have to get my mom involved in this, right? Because God knows I don't want to eat a right hook at 9. And he's like, no, that's, oh, by the way, I talked to my mom. I'll get to that in a second. So she's like, all right, well, no, I'll let's get this squared away. And then, we'll make an appointment with Dr. Tovar and get you back on track. And I said, all right, good. So that's fine. So I have back pain. I don't think I have diabetes, which is good news. But I do know I have an enemy in Carl, the nurse, who's not happy with me. I just picture him, just because he's dealing with kids all day. And I understand that's got to be frustrating. But you know what? Then don't take the gig. So that happened today. That was good. So I don't have diabetes. Yay, I don't think. I don't know, I got to get blood, and then we'll take that next step. But it doesn't matter because my back still fucking hurts. All right, so, but that's okay. I'll get to the gym, stretch it out. Everything's looking good. I'm going to do some curls. Yes, folks, I remember what those are, curls. That's how I would start out my workout. I would show up. I'd do 100 curls with a 50-pound bar before my workout, and then go work out. God, those were good old days back when I had money to train. All right, so talked to my mom finally. My mom heard the show, and she's got her iPod. She got it all straightened out, and I wind up calling. And she's like, hi. And I go, yeah, hey. And I go, what's going on? And I played it off like nothing was wrong because I wasn't sure if anything was wrong. Like, I still didn't know if she'd heard it or not, And she goes, listen, I got my iPod working. And I said, yeah. She goes, yeah, and I heard that show. That show. That's even better. Like, it's not even like my show or your show. I heard that show. And I go, that show? And she goes, yeah, your podcast. I go, oh, okay, good. That's what I said. I go, oh, okay, good. And then she's quiet, and I go, it is good, right? She goes, listen, I don't give a shit what you say about me. Now listen, when somebody says that, folks, you know what that means? I don't like what you said about me. She said, I don't give a shit what you said about me, but let me tell you something. What you said about your sister-in-law, Michael, that's terrible. I said, what did I say about my sister-in-law? She goes, you said that like she's pregnant because obviously they don't own a chair. And I said, yeah. I said, that was funny, right? She's like, why would you say something like that? I go, Mom, that's a joke. What are you saying? And she's like, but that's just awful. And then, the things you said about Vicky, like what you said about Vicky, aren't you afraid of getting sued? Sued? Who's going to sue me? I'm an idiot with a free podcast. And I said, I said, well, I'm not really worried about getting sued because if anybody's listened to the show for any length of time, they realize I have nothing to take. You know what you can take that I've just recently acquired? 45 pounds. How about if you have that? Enjoy it. I'm happy to hand it over. But then I talked to my mom some more, and she got very upset. And my mom was upset because apparently what she said was, I just don't want to see you fall out of favor and stop talking to people. Because I told you, I have 4 brothers, 2 of whom I speak to, 2 of whom I don't speak to. And those 2 that I don't speak to also don't speak to my mom. And so my mom was saying that she started to get choked up, and she's like, look, I just don't want to lose you, and then you're not talking to them, and everybody's not talking to everybody again. And I said, Ma, don't worry about it. I go, as a matter of fact, Glenn, my brother Glenn, listens to the show, who has a baby on the way. I go, so it's fine. And I said that to her, and then silently in my head, I went, you haven't talked to Glenn in like 4 months. I hope things are fine. Because Glenn listened to the show when I talked about his big bag of porn, and he wrote me a note. And it was just like, hey, I heard the show. It was very funny. No, or something like that. But then I talked to him on the phone, and everything seemed okay. We're fine. He's good. And but yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while. I mean, I assume things are fine, right? Everything's fine. Folks, tell me, yes. I'm sure things are fine. So I'm sure my mom is listening now. She might not be. She might be. Who knows? She might have just thrown in the towel after that first one. And I tried to explain to her, I go, Mom, look, I'm a comic. I go, I'm just goofing around. And I go, that's kind of, what and I told her, I go, what's funny? I go, one of my first shows that isn't like up online anymore was all about you. It was literally called M is 4 because I started talking about my mom, and then it just went into where I talked about my mom the entire time. And she's like, oh, I want to hear that one. And I'm like, well, unfortunately, it's not available. Which is what because I have a lot of people writing me emails asking where episodes 1 through 20 are. And they had to come down because storing them costs money, and a lot more money than I thought it would. Shockingly, every month I got to pay every month to do it. So Lili and I were able to take them down, and actually I have to take some more down because things are getting a little hairy cash wise with the people online. So it just whatever. But eventually, maybe they'll be available again in package form. Wink. But I have no idea. So who knows? We'll see. So yeah, my family's still okay. My back is not. And I read this online. You know what I read? I said Lindsay Lohan. Have you guys seen Lindsay Lohan lately? She is totally skinny. Like she looks like really thin, like crazy thin. Like she looks like. I mean, she looks hot. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. She's really fucking hot. But I read they said that she was surviving on candy and Red Bull. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. Because, but I don't know how she got skinny doing it. Because I got to be honest with you, I've been doing that for 6 months, and it is not working, friends. Although not Red Bull. I am not a Red Bull guy. I know Red Bull is the thing, and everybody loves it. But holy shit, did I hate it? I tried it once, back in 1999 when I first started. I was supposed to work on the internet when I got the job at Load. We were initially working out of this guy Morgan's house. And I opened up his fridge. And you ever see the video for Nothing But a G Thing from Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg? And they open the fridge and it's nothing but 40 ounces, like all the way from bottom to top. This guy's fridge was nothing but Red Bull, like from top to bottom. This is in 1999, so he was at the cutting edge of the bull balls drink ingesting. So he's like, hey, try it. And he was a big advocate of it, and I drank a can, and this is back then when I was drinking fucking battery acid 10 times a day. I was drinking a case of fucking soda a day, and I drank the Red Bull and went, yeah, that's not for me. And I had heartburn. I'm not kidding you. I had heartburn in 30 seconds. Like I drank it, and then I was like, all of a sudden I had heartburn, which is weird. I mean, you don't want that in a drink, do you? This is awful. Oh, Christ. Speaking of, have you tried Propel? It's fantastic. No heartburn at all. It should say right on there. Oh, and Lindsay Lohan is all thin and skinny and eating candy and Red Bull, and now she's really hot skinny. Did you guys see Jessica Simpson? Oh my Christ! Jessica Simpson might have gone to Trader Joe's and bought the Aquarium Rock candies for the last few months. You know what she looks like? Because she was at some chili cook-off, which completely makes sense when you see the goddamn pictures. But she's wedged into mom jeans, and she's got like 4 belts on, like belted really high, and she's just crammed into this black shirt, and like she's got rolls happening. It's weird, like all of a sudden overnight, and now people are like, hey, I think she's pregnant. I don't think she's pregnant. I think she's pregnant with a ham. I think that's what she's pregnant with. because she, you know what she looks like? If you go look at those pictures again, because there's one especially where she's got her arm in the air and she's like pointing. She looks like fucking Elvis. Like late years, fat, bloated, dead Elvis. That's who fucking Jessica Simpson looks like. And I don't know what she and Romo were doing over the past 2 months. She just crawled into a cotton candy machine and won't come out except for there's unless there's a chili cook-off. That's when they can lure her out. She's just in there. She's just hand spooning, gravy into her mouth until all of a sudden there was a chili cook-off. Jesus, is she huge? I don't know what happened. It looks like she's allergic and got stung by 3 bees on the way to the stage. She is like, it's crazy how huge she is. And she's not even huge because she looks like a normal person. She doesn't look like she usually looks. That's all. But for a singer and a celebrity and a star, she looks like Fat Elvis, like Fat Dead Elvis. It's great. Oh, you found the pictures? Yeah, Lili looked the pictures up on the internet. She's like, oh, come on, that can't be true. Wow. Yeah, go look them up. Just Google Jessica Simpson and chili cook-off. Because you know what? I'm pretty sure Jessica Simpson was just Googling chili cook-off. And it's good to see her with a microphone in her hand instead of a fork. Jesus God. That is a woman who is putting it away. And again, I can throw these kind of stones because I'm a fat guy. So, sure, I can do that. And even if I was a thin guy, I could do it because I used to be a fat guy. Who cares? I can make fun of anybody. I reserve the right to make fun of fucking everybody in the world. Okay? Deal with it. Suck it. Suck on that, fat celebrities who aren't supposed to be fat. Yeah, suck on that, fat Elvis. I'm taking you on 80 years after the fact. Isn't it Elvis's birthday today? I think it might be. I don't even know. It's somewhere around now, like 26th or 24th. Google it. Find out. This could be the King's Dead podcast. That'd be awesome with that. Maybe that's what Jessica Simpson was doing. She's like doing a salute to the king, 32 years after his death. She's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and just blow it up nicely like the king. And all she's got to do is get, when's Elvis' birthday?
The 8th.
The 8th?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh, it's Eddie Van Halen's birthday. That's whose birthday it is. I'm confused. Elvis, Eddie Van Halen, same guy. And Eddie not skinny, but I'm sure he's going to wind up dead on a toilet someday. Although Jessica might beat him to it. Jessica's going to wind up wedged into a toilet. She's not dead. She's going to wind up fucking oh Christ. I can't explain how big. And she just is. It's like a tribute to Elvis. She's just eating peanut butter and banana sandwiches and eating Fool's Gold Loaf and just eating like mashed potatoes and peas with her hands like Elvis used to do. Dude, do yourself a favor and go read about Elvis's eating habits. You will be stunned by the shit that Elvis put away. Elvis, he ate this thing called Fool's Gold Loaf, okay? What he would do is he would get a loaf of French bread. They would cut it in half long ways, tunnel out the bread, making a nice little a nice little bread cave to put whatever you want in there. Well, guess what Elvis put in there? He'd fill one side of it with peanut butter, the other side of it with jelly, and then he would make 2 pounds of bacon, and he would burn it. And by the way, when I say Elvis would make it, I mean he would point at the Negro who worked at his kitchen and go, "Make that for me," and then she would whip it up. And he would say, "Hey, why don't you go Fool's Gold Loaf?" And so she would tunnel out the bread and fill it with peanut butter and jelly. Maybe not even jelly, maybe just peanut butter. I could be wrong. And then 2 pounds of burnt bacon. Burned it so it would snap. Like not even just cook it until it was completely carcinogenic. And then she would put it in the bread, put the top back on top, and then cover it with melted butter and bake it. Yeah. Elvis might as well have just eaten sticks of butter. That's what he should have just melted butter and injected it into his fucking veins. That's what he could have done. Dude, I love Elvis. You know what? I'm going this route. Me and Jessica Simpson are doing it. Because you know what? I hear that thing about the peanut butter and the bacon and all that, and I can admit, that doesn't sound bad to me. I don't know if I could eat the entire fucking crazy Volkswagen-sized loaf of bread, but, maybe if someone cut me off a chunk of that, I'd be like, yeah, I could knock this back. Because my buddies and I were in Vegas, and we actually, or not in Vegas, we were in Memphis, and we went to Graceland, but we didn't go in. Because we didn't have any time. We were driving through, folks. We drove through Memphis and went, hey, let's go see what Graceland looks like. And then we went outside the gate, and we looked at Graceland and went, that looks like my house. Because it does, from the bottom of the hill, Graceland is just like it's like a regular fucking house with a jungle room. That's it. So we went across the street to the Rockabilly Cafe, and we had peanut butter and banana sandwiches, and we're on our way. So Elvis invented some good shit. I'm with Elvis. So that's what Jessica's got to do. She just got to eat Fool's Gold Loaf, and she's got to buy a monkey, and she's got to do all that. Elvis had a monkey. I don't know if you know this. Elvis had a monkey named Scatter. I'm not lying about this. So the monkey had free reign of the house. My buddy Mex and I one time were watching a show, and they're talking to all the guys from Elvis's Memphis Mafia. Like they're talking to Charlie Hodge and Red West and everybody else who fucking raped Elvis for all he was worth when he was alive, and even after he died. And basically these are all the guys who had to do flips when Elvis pretended to know karate. That's who these guys are. When Elvis went, hey, I'm going to go practice my karate, Red West and they had to go out and go, all right, fuck, the king wants to do karate. And they had to pretend to fall down. Like I can imagine if Elvis said, hey, man, I just want to play guns. And he pretended to shoot them. He'd be like, pew, pew, pew. And Red West and Charlie Hodge had to fall down. That was their fucking job. Charlie Hodge had to bring Elvis waters and scarves. And he had to fall down when Elvis wanted to play guns. Unfortunately for them, Elvis wanted to play with real guns. Go read about that. Elvis would fill his pool with flash cubes and shoot them all day. Elvis is a fucking genius. I wish why don't I have the money Elvis had? I would live that goddamn life. That's hysterical. Imagine sitting out at your pool using your Derringer to pick off flash cubes you got floating in the pool while your fucking monkey runs around the house and terrorizes your friends. God damn, is that an awesome life? You know what? It's worth dying at 42. If someone told me now, because I'm 41 and I'll be 42 in July, if someone said for the next 5 months, or 7 months now, look at that, I get 2 bonus months. If for the next 7 months, I could live like Elvis, I could have a jungle room and I could get laid all the time and I could do drugs and fucking eat like an idiot and shoot flash cubes and have my monkey run around and scare my friends, I'm in. God damn it, I am in with Elvis. How do I not do that? I'd die happily in July. God damn that! And you know what? Honestly, I'm partway there. I'm fat with back pain. I just have no money for the flash cubes and the monkey. And quite frankly, I'm going to walk in. Nobody's going to sell me a monkey because they're going to go, you going to eat this fucking monkey? No, I'm not going to eat this monkey. Jesus Christ, can't a guy just buy a pet? On a side note, if I were to eat this monkey, now hear me out. I'm not eating this monkey. But if I were to eat this monkey, do I have to shave it first? That's my question to you. I'm shaving pandas. I'm shaving monkeys. I got it. I'm working it, folks. Shaving animals all over the place. I would live like Elvis. So when Mex and I are watching this show and they're talking about Scatter the monkey, and Scatter would run around and terrorize his friends, and they'd just be like, "Oh, say King, that's great, man. That Scatter gets to pull my hair and poke me in the eye. I love it." Oh, no, Elvis, that's not chocolate pudding. That's monkey shit from Scatter. He just he hopped in and threw a handful at me. Isn't that hilarious? Thank God, Elvis. You don't want to put a diaper on this fucking monkey? What is wrong with you, you jagoff? You don't say that because you wind up buried in the backyard of fucking Graceland next to Aaron. Really? We groan on Aaron? We groan on Elvis's dead twin who died in birth? Unbelievable. Who groans at that? He's been dead a long time. Let's all grow up. Elvis has his twin brother buried in his backyard. What a freak. How great is that? What a great life that you could just get away with doing all that. Your monkey running around scaring people. So Mix and I are watching this show, and they're talking about when Elvis died. And the thing is, they keep cutting to a reenactment. Like the guys are telling the stories, and then it's black and white reenactment, and they're showing it. And and then the somber music starts, and they talk about Elvis being dead, and they don't know what to do, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to, and Mex and I are watching the show, and they're explaining that, and then it dawns on them, after they finally get the ambulance, they get everything squared away, they talk to Linda Thompson, they're going to figure out what's happening, and they realize they got to tell Lisa Marie. They have to tell Elvis's daughter that Elvis has died. And the guy goes, none of us know what to do, we don't know how to break the news to Lisa Marie. And I look at Mex and I go, somebody better pin a note to that monkey. because the monkey's just running throughout the goddamn house. So why not? I mean, you guys are off the hook. Elvis is dead. You don't have to fucking act like stooges anymore. Go ahead and go out. First of all, before you call the ambulance, go to the backyard and dig up the $800,000 that Elvis no doubt buried in mason jars in the fucking backyard. Be careful not to hit Aaron's grave. I know Lili will be very upset about that. But dig up the mason jars full of cash and then pin a note on the monkey and hope it runs into Lisa Marie. Oh, it was great. We were watching the show just laughing because we're making up, these idiots are just like, oh man, Elvis was great to us. There was one time he went ahead and he gave a car to my friend. Yeah, but you don't mention the 800 times you had to rub his naked ass because he was fucking passing out from fucking methadone. Terrible. So we just kept throwing in, but I said, oh man, somebody pin a note on that monkey. You know, one of them had to say that, right? One of them had to have like the black humor to just go, shit, we've eaten Elvis's shit for too long. Somebody pin a note on that monkey. Oh, Elvis. What a great life. I don't give a shit that he died and his brother died and his business manager stole everything he had. The guy married like a 15-year-old. I mean, it's like, again, if Elvis lived now, he would not get away with anything. Like he would have to be like clean and jogging. But like back then, he could be this fat slob who fucked a 15-year-old, and then he's eating handfuls of peas. I mean, he was just crazy. He was a crazy person. He was a fucking jug carrying, barefoot, shotgun wielding, overall having hillbilly who happened to get money. That's exactly what fucking happened. And he got that money the way you would think an overall wearing, shotgun wielding hillbilly would, by screwing over black guys. That's exactly how he did it. That's the American dream of the American redneck. Hey, what if we screwed over these black guys and got rich doing it? There you go. Bingo. You got Elvis. And then he surrounds himself with a cast of stooges and gives them pendants. Oh, Jesus. Elvis was like, hey, man, why don't we form our own super friends? And he gives his friends necklaces. What a fucking dope. What a fucking white trash idiot. And people are like, I love this guy. Yeah, I love him too. He's a fucking riot. This guy who wears goddamn spangly jumpsuits. That's how out of fucking control he is. And I know I'm not covering any new ground here, but it's funny when you think about it. Jesus God, this guy got to do whatever the fuck he wanted and nobody cared. And everybody's like, oh yeah, that's the king of rock and roll. Really? That guy who dresses like a parade float is the king of rock and roll? You mean that guy standing on the pile of black shoulders? That guy being lifted up to the sky by black songwriters? Yeah, that's him. He's the king of rock and roll. Hey, pay no attention to that guy in the cowboy hat behind him who's taking all of the money. Elvis gave his friends necklaces, formed a goddamn club, the Memphis Mafia, the TCB taking care of business lightning bolt. What the fuck is wrong with Elvis? And these guys are just like, yeah, man, that sounds like a great idea. Think of the horrible debauchery that must have gone on in that fucking house when Elvis was just bored. He was just like, hey, Charlie and Red, why don't you guys get naked and wrestle? I'm going to watch it. Where's those girls with the cotton panties? I don't want to wrestle them today. They're going to sit and watch you wrestle naked. Go ahead, Charlie and Red, what do you say? Jump right in there, man. Hey, let's get the Jordanaires to write a song about my mailbox. What do you say, guys? Sing about it. This guy's fucking insane. And these guys are just like, yes, Elvis. Of course, Elvis. Absolutely, Elvis. Whatever you say, King. Say, King. No problem, King. Oh, Elvis. There's a great clip from like one of the Elvis documentaries, and he's leaving a concert. It's like, because they would do the Elvis has left the building, because he literally would be shoved into a limousine and driven away immediately. And it's one of those unguarded moments with Elvis, and he's just in the back, and he goes, man, it's a hot one in Florida. And he's going to go, yeah, Elvis, it's hot. And then Elvis just goes, hot one in Florida. Rainy night in Georgia. And I just picture him singing to himself all the time, like in the shower, just being Elvis. God damn it. How great would it have been to be an Elvis? Fucking eating whatever you wanted, fucking with your pals, monkey. God damn it. I can't believe Elvis didn't eat the monkey. Honestly, it had to cross his mind. It had to cross his mind. As much as they would think I was going to eat the monkey, Elvis probably, he might have eaten that monkey. He might have had like 9 scatters. He might have had a bunch of different monkeys. Just, how did he not do that at one point? Hey, Charlie and Red, fire up the grill, man. We're cooking this monkey. Should have done it. How did he not do it? Oh, Elvis, eat that monkey. All right. I was reading this week about Obama. That's the worst segue of all time. You know why I'm reading about Obama? He ate a monkey. Anyway, I read a story in Sports Illustrated. They were talking about he plays basketball. And they're saying that you could learn a lot about a person by how they play basketball. And I got to tell you, folks, I hope that is not fucking true, because I am the worst basketball player on earth. I am fucking terrible. And unfortunately, I have the plaque to prove it. Like, I had a game. I had to play a game, like a battle. We have my friend Jimmy O. We used to call him Stoolie, because he was so bad at basketball, he played like shit. So he was called Stoolie. So I, unfortunately, was just as bad, but luckily avoided the perils of a nickname. And then we finally said, let's have the grand championship of bad basketball, one-on-one, me and the Stoolie head-to-head. So we wound up playing at a shitty court, too. Like, I maintain that we were not at a good court, folks. So go ahead and I must tell you that. We played in, you ever go to, we weren't on a legal, like a regular basketball court. We were at, you ever go to a court, like you know how when you drive down a street and it ends in a circle, it's a court? Okay, does that make any sense? Yeah. Like a dead end? We went down into a court, and you ever see when you go down there, and because it's a court and nobody's driving down there, people will put up a basketball hoop. So we played there. I don't think it was even a regulation hoop, folks. There was a lot of wind outside. I'm saying, you know what? I'm actually calling Jimmy O out right now. Let's go. 40-year-old men, let's battle a second time. And in a real court. Because I played him out on the street, and I got my ass kicked by the guy who's so bad at basketball, he got the nickname of shit. Stoolie. Jimmy O. Stoolzer. Beats me. I think he thumped me. I mean, I don't think I was even close. You know why? Because I didn't have Mike Scott and Mike Casey to go ahead and pin up the girls. Post up the girls. Pin up the girls? That wouldn't be good at all. So solo, forget about it. Like I said, I'm bad. And Jimmy O killed me. But then also, it was non-regulation basket. It was like too high. I think it was like 12 feet high. It sure seemed high. But I was not doing well. I did very poorly. So I'm hoping that basketball is not a way to judge a person's personality, because if it is, we've all learned that I'm not a good guy, but now I'm the worst guy who ever lived. And again, I can prove it with a goddamn certificate. But it doesn't mean I don't love basketball. Jesus, I love to play. It's just I couldn't play because I was so fucking bad at it. When we were kids, oh, dude, you know what we used to do when we were kids? We would play. There was a place called Grand Slam, and they had 9-foot rims. So we would play like 4-on-4. All right, it was a small it was like a midget basketball court. It was like you could play full court 2 hoops, but it was only the size of half court. But there was hoops back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like if you took a regulation basketball court and you cut it in half and you put a second basket at center court, there you go. Boom. That was your full court with 9-foot rims. And we would fucking play and just like dunk like machines. It was the greatest. And by dunk like machines, I mean everybody else would dunk like machines because I was a big fat guy and that was not happening. But we would play at Grand Slam and we would just be furiously dunking and posting up and pretending we were famous or good. And my buddy Max and Jeff, they're good at basketball, and they would be playing, and everybody got nicknames, and it was retarded and funny. So one time we're playing at Grand Slam, and I'm being guarded. When I'm guarded, I'll say I'm being guarded loosely because again, I'm no threat. So we're inbounding the ball at center at half court, and we go to bring it up. And I'm being guarded by our friend Kenny B, but he's maintaining a wide berth. Like he doesn't have to. He knows he doesn't have to do anything because I'm not going to hit any shots. And also the ball we'd play with was like a little smaller than a regular ball, so you could palm it. It was genius. We were pretending to play big boy basketball. So Kenny, we're coming in bounds, Kenny is kind of laying off me, so I see it. So I decide to, in a novel idea for me, run. So I run past him, and he cheats forward, so I get by him, and Mex passes the ball. He throws a bounce pass to me in the lane. I grab it, and there's nobody in front of me. I go in the air, and folks, I'm not going to lie to you. I fucking cuff dunked it. I mean, because there's nobody in my way. I had a head start. I might have taken 9 steps. I don't fucking know. All I know is I grabbed, everybody has that moment in sandlot basketball or baseball they remember forever. I grabbed this one-hop bounce pass, put 2 feet on the floor, went up, and like windmill Dominique Wilkins fucking cuff dunked it. Boom! And I fucking... it was genius. I landed, and I did the stupid thing that you do when you land. I landed and turned around with a mean face, like, what? All I saw, I got up, and it was like, because you hear, when you dunk, you hear a noise, you hear, kung. So I got up, and I kung, and I land, and I turn around, and as I turn around, all of my friends are just Chinese fire drill running around laughing. Like just this crazy, like high-fiving strangers and making phone calls and raising banners. I mean, it's insane the celebration that occurs after I throw down this fucking windmill dunk. I go and I just turn around I'm, you know what? Act like you've been there before, folks. So I land and I turn around just like, what? Like with this mean face? Like, yeah, that's right. I just fucking cuff dunked in all your faces, but I try to maintain that as I turn around and all I just hear is, whoa! And people running around and doing somersaults. It looked like the Arsenio show. I mean, like everybody's doing somersaults and jumping around. And again, you know, people in other courts are clapping. The phone rings. It's the president. I mean, he can't believe that this has happened. It was the most unbelievable celebration ever. I gotta be honest, I don't even know if we continued playing. I might have just left. I may have just walked out of the building to my car and driven home. I mean, it was that crazy of a moment where everybody went bananas. Oh, it was the best. So we would play at Grand Slam, and then we would play at Mex's house. We called it the Mex Dome because he had this 9-foot rim in his driveway, and we'd be playing. And we would film the games. It was hysterical. So we would film the games, and we'd watch them back. We're idiots. So we're out there and we're playing hoop and it was the greatest. Remember when you didn't have to do anything at all in your life? Remember when you could just play? Wasn't that great? Well, I still have that life, but sadly my landlord isn't thrilled about it. So we would go and we would play at the Mex Dome every Saturday. We would get there at like 11 o'clock and it would wind up, we'd have shifts of guys showing up and we'd play all day. And then if we were lucky, by the end of the night, Dave's mom, Mex's mom, would make Mexican food, and we would just pig out, and we watched the videotapes of us, playing the game. It was awesome. So we're out there playing and stuff, and I will tell you this, and it was just, it's all your friends, and you're trying to make each other laugh and do stuff. So at the time, this is going to seem weird, but I don't care. I have to tell you it. When I was a kid, and when I was a kid, that's being generous. This might have continued for a while. I had a thing that I would do. I would do a thing called a royal family. What that was, folks, is if I had to fart, I would bare ass fart. I would drop trousers to do it because I called it a royal family because I felt that the royal family felt that they were too good for farts to stain their royal clothes. So my theory was that the royal family would bare ass fart because they didn't want to fart trapped in their royal garments. So this would happen occasionally when we would go out or whatever, and it became something. So anyway, we're out there and we're shooting hoop one day, and we're at the Mex Dome and we're just hammering and dunking and having fun and we're all that. And I'm like, oh, hold on, royal family, and I just royal family the driveway. And everybody's like, dude, what? Seriously? Why? Why would you do that? I'm like, come on, it's the royal family. Because again, I don't think Prince Charles would want to fart gumming up his clothes. So he has to let it free. You don't want to trap it in your royal vestments. You want to get it out of your garments because, that's you're royal. You don't want that happening. So that was my theory as a young man. And quite frankly, I maintain that theory to this day. Doesn't mean I participate in any sort of royal family activity. However, I will say that as a child and now as a man, I believe that the royal family probably does. So we're shooting hoop and we're just having this amazing time. We're dunking and furious. I was terrible, folks. I was terrible, but it doesn't matter. On a 9-foot rim, your game completely changes. All you got to do is get a drop step and get past somebody, and you can hit a layup. I can do that, right? So we're playing the game, and game ends. We go inside and we're hanging out, and we're gonna eat, and we're just and so we put in the videotape, and we're watching the videotape, and out of nowhere, on the videotape, Mike, your friend Mike, hi, that's me, forgot there was a camera outside. And all you see is the game is playing, and there's like literally, it's like there's a rebound, and a ball goes out of bounds. Like, all right, whose ball? Inbounds? Oh, hold on, royal family. Drops trousers right in front of the camera and rips a huge fart and pulls his shorts up. And I got to tell you, folks, I was horrified. Because his family's in there. Like, Dave's family's in there. We're all in there. And I'm like, oh, no, that didn't just happen, right? That wouldn't happen. Because, again, I think you know me. I'm not a fart guy. Like, I don't think that stuff's funny, really. Like, that doesn't entertain me in any single way. But, the royal family thing just kind of took on a life of its own. And it's like literally people look at me like, we're watching the video. I'm like, dude, that was right in the camera. Like right. So then it looks like I meant to do it like right in the camera. No, I did not. I forgot there was a camera. I wouldn't do that. I don't think it's great. Because, again, when I would do a royal family, it wasn't like I went, and bent over, spread cheek, blew everybody away. I literally was very discreet. I would like go into a corner and be like, boom, drop trowel in the back, boom, royal family, done. But this time, I forgot that there was going to be video evidence of said royal family. And I freaked. Like, I got so freaky weird. I go, erase that. And they're laughing. They're just like, dude, I go, fucking erase that or I will take the videotape. I'm not kidding. There can be no evidence of the royal family. It must be destroyed. And because I was so weirded out that I did it, and it was such an uncouth fucking thing to do. To see it back was like so terrible. But doing it was funny. It was always funny to do. And that was it. I think that was the end of my royal family days. That was the day I said, you know what? No more. I am. You know why? Because I'm a mere peasant. I can't deal with the royal family. I'm a peasant. I need to go ahead and just and deal with being a peasant and deal with this the way all peasants would. I can't hope to be a part of the aristocracy, so I'm keeping my pants up whenever this is going to happen from now on. And Mex is like, I'm not erasing that tape. And I go, yes, you are, goddammit. You must erase it. Horrifying. And I hope he erased it. I think he did, because he still has those tapes from the Mex Dome. Like, when I was home for Christmas, he's like, dude, we should bust out some Mex Dome tapes. And then that's when I remembered. I was like, oh, dude, there's a royal family lurking on one of those Mex Dome tapes. But hopefully he took care of it and did the right thing. I have no idea if he did or he didn't. But, yeah, folks, enjoy the royal family. So, I don't know, why did that come up? Oh, because I was talking about basketball. I'm an idiot. You guys can write me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com, or you can write me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Yes? All right, I'm an idiot. I'm a little freaked out because I can't believe I mentioned that story. That's horrible. All right, because that just makes me look terrible, and I'm not terrible, am I? I'm not. So maybe that's why I was the worst basketball player who ever lived. I dropped trousers in the middle of a game. That's not a move that you want to do. That certainly doesn't help your game at all. Your mid-range jumper is not boosted by that activity. The royal family, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like something Elvis would do, doesn't it? Like Elvis would zip out of the jumpsuit and pull it down and just like fart in front of everybody, and they'd be like, "Ah, king, that's great, man. Say, that was fantastic." And he'd be like, "Hey, royal family, because you know what? I'm the fucking king." There you go. He is the royal family. And he's passed out necklaces to prove it. Elvis formed the Super Friends of Hillbillies. All right. So you guys can write me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and you can write me at Mike Schmidt Comedy. No, MySpace, right? MySpace.com/Mike Schmidt Comedy. There you go. Also, remember to go to ComedyFilmNerds.com, because my review of Taken was going to go up last week, but then Taken didn't come out. So I plugged it on the show. I plugged it in all the things that I sent out, and then the movie didn't come out. And then I thought about watching it online, because I found a website where you can do that, folks. I couldn't believe it, but I found a website where I went there, and it had The Reader and Revolutionary Road and Taken and Slumdog Millionaire. All these movies are online at this site. I was stunned to find it. But and again, it doesn't, you can Google it and find it in 5 minutes, but I was really surprised. I'm not going to lie to you. But I will say that apparently in China, they are very busy with the American films and putting them online. So go ahead and write me at myspace.com/Mike Schmidt Comedy. Go to comedyfilmnerds.com and learn about what I thought of Taken. That will be this weekend. And remember also I'm at comicsoncomics.com. And remember I did that interview at myspace.com/Laugh Riot Radio. And that's LAUGH, Riot Radio. If you listen to it, great. If you didn't, that's fine. I totally understand. And also, Lili von Stupp, remember, she does a show every Monday night at the 3 Clubs, the Monday Night Tees show. And that's at Santa Monica and Vine. And that's every Monday night at 10 o'clock p.m. Go ahead and write Lili at Lili, Lili, at burlesque411.com for all the information. And go ahead and write her at Lili at burlesque411. Yeah, I was going to give your other one, but I shouldn't do that. Because that would not be good for anybody. All of a sudden I'm giving personal information over there, and next thing you know, I'm doing the podcast with an audience. How does that happen? What? You're charging admission. Yeah, someone's going to pay. Sure they are. I'm a moron. All right. I did this whole podcast wearing a coat, folks. It's freezing, man. It's cold in California, and again, it's California cold. Let's put it that way. All right, I'm from Chicago. I know what cold is. I get that. I've had my hands freeze to the back of a car, pushing it, trying to get it to start. That's not fun. I did. It was like 35 below zero and crazy wind chill. This is back in '84, and we were pushing a car, trying to get it to start. And my hands actually like froze to the back of the car. They had to get hot water and dump it on there, and I had to rip my hands off while the hot water hit it. Yeah, so I get that it's not really cold here. And again, I know all over the country and everybody is covered in fucking ice and snow. And sorry, I mean, I've got nothing to do with that. But it doesn't matter because if 45 degrees is fucking cold to me, it's cold to me now. I've become this man. Especially after losing the weight that I lost and then getting older. And I mean, I need a fleece at all times, folks. I need to be wrapped in fleece. Give me a fleece, goddammit. And it's funny. We were in a restaurant the other day. It was like it was nighttime and it's free. It's cold here. Again, I'm wearing 2 coats. And a girl comes in wearing shorts, because again, I was that guy. When I go home to Chicago, I stopped wearing. I never wore a coat because I hated carrying it. Once I got into the place I was going to, I was always like, I'm cold from the house to the car, and then that's it. The heat's on in the car, and then I'm cold from the car to the club. But in the club, the heat's on, so I'm fine. But now, fuck it, I'm wrapped in swaddling clothes at all times, like the baby Jesus. But I see this woman at the restaurant, and she's wearing shorts, and it's freezing. I mean, there's no doubt it's freezing. You can see her breath, and that's cold for California. And I'm standing next to her, and I'm about a foot. I'm to her left and a foot behind her. And it's a place where we got to wait for they call your number, and then you can get your salad or whatever. And I'm standing there, and I just leaned over and I go, "Would you like my coat?" And she goes, "No, I'm okay, thanks." And I go, "Okay." And I took a step back, and I waited a beat. And I leaned forward and I went, "Would you like my pants?" and again, you're out on a limb at that point because you don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I mean, she could take it in the spirit it's intended and laugh, or she could just be like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Seriously. And but luckily, and again, she was like a high school girl. That was another thing. Like she was like, because it was a high school volleyball team that was there, or maybe even a college volleyball team. I don't know, young women volleyball team, and she was in her uniform. And so I just went, "Would you like my pants?" And to her credit, she laughed, thankfully, and went, "No, I'm okay." I said, and I didn't laugh. I didn't make it. I just went, "Okay," and I just leaned back, and I'm still behind her. And I get back to the table and I tell Karen, I go, "It's hilarious. I asked that girl if she wanted my pants." And Karen's just like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I said, "It was funny. She's standing there in shorts. I mean, she's obviously freezing. Would you like my pants?" Who wouldn't say that? Would you like my pants? Apparently nobody would say that. Would you like my pants? We were doing last week when I was doing the podcast, some guy came and knocked on Lily's door and he's bothering her and he's talking and he won't stop talking. And in my head I go, "You know what, dude? Take your pants off and walk over to the door." I don't know if everybody's head says that, but my head said that. So I'm like, "Take your pants off, dude, and walk over to the door. It'll be hilarious." And then I go, "Nah, you can't take your pants off because that's really weird. Like Lily's husband's not here and Karen's not here. All I need is some crazy Three's Company thing to happen." And when I walk over with no pants on and I go, "Hey, what's going on?" And her husband walks in and that's the last episode of the fucking podcast. So I go, "All right, so you know what? Take your shirt off, dude. That'll be even funnier." So I did. I took my shirt off and I walked over to and Lily's talking to some neighbor who's bitching about something. And I walk up and I go, "Hey, hon, what's the problem?" And I got my shirt off. And she just looks at me like, what? Like, she has no idea. And the neighbors then just like, because I thought he was in the foyer. So I thought it was going to be like I was going to come into their conversation. But he's outside, so he can't see me. All she sees is me walk up with my shirt off. "Hey, what's happening?" And she's just like, she tries to keep it together and still talk to this idiot. And then she comes in, she's like, "What are you doing?" I almost took my pants off, which would have been hilarious. But I guess, you know what, maybe taking your pants off not as hilarious as I think it is. Although that seems to be a thing. Wouldn't it be funny to take your pants off? No, apparently not as funny as I thought it would be. But next time, maybe I think about it. So that's, I guess what I'm saying is I'm constantly a threat to take off my pants. That's something that you should all be thinking about whenever you meet me or see me anywhere. Just think about, you know what, is that guy going to take his pants off at any second? dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jagoff. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jagoff. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. 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 You're finished.